What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope you're doing well. Got a short show today, but first, before we get to March Madness, that's really what I'm going to cover today. But the first thing I want to talk about is the New York Giants signed Jameis Winston, 2 years, $8 million, up to $16 million in incentives. Overall, I think this is a decent deal for the Giants. It's not a lot of money for a guy who right now is their starting quarterback. They're looking like they're going to draft somebody in the first round with the third pick. So I'm not sure how long James will start, if he will at all. We'll see what happens. But for a guy who looks like he's going to start at least a handful against the Giants this year, $8 million a year, which is what the max value is not a lot of money for a starting quarterback whatsoever. That's absolutely nothing. Look, Jameis, he's not good, but he's not the worst either. He's a solid backup quarterback. He's not a starter in his league, but the Giants, the situation there is not very good. Their offensive line's a work in progress. Their weapons are not very good outside of Malik Neighbors. Even their defense leaves something to be desired to me. They have some pieces up front, but on the back end's a little weak. So not an ideal situation there. James has nothing else. He's a solid vet to have in the room for a youngster. He's a decent leader. Obviously, he's a bit of a goofball. And obviously, you know what you're getting. He's going to throw for a lot of yards. He'll throw some touchdowns, but he'll also have a lot of interceptions. He'll have some games where he comes up clutch. He'll have some games where he costs you the game completely. So you know what you're getting. It's kind of, all or nothing. He'll have a lot of those games, 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. He'll have some games where he plays great and he ends up winning you the game. He'll have some games where it's like, if he just had 2 less interceptions, we would have won the game. If he had 2 picks instead of 4 picks, we would have won the game, that kind of thing. But this is not it's not a ton of risk here, and I see why the Giants did it. And also, him with the New York media is going to be a movie. Oh my god, I'm kind of looking forward to that, honestly. I'm not a Giants fan, but as a Jets fan, obviously being born and raised in New York, I'm looking forward to seeing all the New York media exchanges with Jameis Winston. That's going to be something else. Time for March Madness. We are through 2 rounds, so we're going to recap everything in March Madness. I have not done the show in a little bit. We had Auburn. So we're going to start in the first round. Auburn takes care of business against Alabama State, 83-63. Alabama State was hanging in there for a while against Auburn. A valiant effort. Was very, very close in that first half. And then Auburn pulls away in the second half. Creighton beats Louisville, 89-75. Creighton, the first couple minutes of that game, they came in a little slow, but then they just got really hot. They just could not miss a single shot. And Louisville just went really cold, and they weren't getting back on defense, and by the second half, that game was basically over. Michigan beats UC San Diego 68-65, close game. Michigan gets by. A&M beats Yale 80-71. We thought Yale might be able to sneak out with a win. 2 years ago, they had a big upset in the tournament. Didn't happen this year. A&M wins. Ole Miss beats UNC 71-64. UNC got past San Diego State, that much of a problem in the first 4. But Ole Miss ended UNC's little Cinderella run, which is probably good because they should not have been in the tournament, if you ask me. But Ole Miss wins 71-64. Iowa State over Lipscomb 80-55. Went right past them. New Mexico, with a slight upset over Marquette 75-66. And then Michigan State beats Bryant 87-62. Bryant hung in there in the first half, but second half Michigan State pulled away with not much of a problem. Then you got Florida beat Norfolk State 95-69. We also saw that coming. Norfolk State plays in a very bad conference. Florida was the second-ranked team in all of college basketball, and they were 1 seed. We saw that coming. UConn beats Oklahoma 67-59 for the defending champs. Colorado State with an upset over Memphis 78-70. Maryland beats Grand Canyon 81-49. Drake with an upset over Missouri 67-57. With Texas Tech beat UNC Wilmington 82-72. So Wilmington put a valiant effort, but Texas Tech moves on. Number 10 Arkansas with a small upset over Kansas 79-72. I think a lot of us saw that comment. Obviously, John Calipari's a great coach. Arkansas is a good team. Kansas was very up and down all season. Not typical year for them. And then St. John's beats Omaha 83-53 by 30. First half, actually, St. John's came out a little slow. Omaha was kind of hanging around in that first half, but St. John's pulled away in the second half of things. And then going to the other side of the route, you had Duke over Mount St. Mary's, 93-49. Well, not even remotely close. Mount St. Mary's plays in the MAC. It's one of the worst conferences in college basketball. It was a prize there. Baylor gets past Mississippi State 75-72. You had Oregon over Liberty 81-52. Arizona beats Akron 93-65. BYU beats VCU 80-71. Their first tournament win since 2012. And they're pretty much always in the tournament, too. So Kevin Young, first year as a coach, has first tournament win for the school in 13 years, so good for him. Wisconsin beats Montana 85-66. St. Mary's gets past Vanderbilt 59-56. Alabama over Robert Morris 90-81. Robert Morris gave him a scare, but Alabama sneaks by. And then you got Houston over SIU Edwardsville 78-40. No surprise there. I've never even heard of SIU Edwardsville. You had Gonzaga beat Georgia 89-68. I think, to me, this was a pretty easy 8-9 one. Georgia, they've been in the tournament forever. They're not known for basketball, obviously. Gonzaga's here every year. McNeese upset over Clemson 69-67. Remember, their coach, Will Wade, like a day before this game, announced that he was leaving this next season to go to NC State, and they still went out there and picked up a win. So, huge upset there for McNeese. Then you got Purdue over High Point 75-63. Illinois beats Xavier 86-73. Kentucky over Troy 76-57. UCLA destroyed Utah State 72-47. And then Tennessee over Wofford 77-62. And then in the second round of things, which obviously finished up last night, Auburn beats Creighton 82-70. You had Michigan over A&M 91-79. Michigan looks really good. They were just kind of okay throughout the year. Obviously, they have a new coach this year in Dusty May. And but they got hot at the right time. Then they won their conference tournament, the Big Ten, surprisingly, and they're in the Sweet 16. Ole Miss beats Iowa State 91-78. Ole Miss looks really good so far. They are firing on all cylinders right now. Michigan State beats New Mexico 71-63. That was a good game, but MSU gets by. They kind of got hot in the last bit of that second half. Pick up a win. Florida over UConn 77-75. That was a great game. UConn played really well. They really were probably the better team for most of that game, but just did not play well down the stretch, and Florida gets by them. So Dan Hiller was very upset after the game. I think he thought he got screwed by the refs, which is kind of the norm for Dan Hiller. I love him. I love him as a coach, but can be kind of annoying with that. Maryland over Colorado State. This was a crazy game. So Maryland was up by 2 really late, and then this happened.
And Lake, those are the 5 for Colorado State. They get it into the hands of Clifford, trying to back down Miguel. Lake, that's for the lead. Gets it. Colorado State up 1. Here comes Maryland. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. Calls the final timeout.
So that you saw what timeout was called. Also, in Colorado State's up 1, only a couple seconds left. Looking like we're going to have a huge upset. And then all of a sudden, this happened.
From the out of bounds to the freshman queen who's driving, floats it. Oh! Maryland on the right side of a buzzer beater.
What a finish for Maryland. And Maryland was famous here for loot. They've lost on a bunch of buzzer beaters throughout the year, but pick up a win. Maryland looked really good. Crazy game. They beat Colorado State. That may have been the best game of the tournament. Texas Tech beats Drake, ending their Cinderella story 77-64. And Arkansas pulls off an upset over St. John's 75-66. So yeah, as a fan of St. John's, I root for all the Tri-State teams. I was hoping they would pull through, but Arkansas is really good. St. John's, a team, they're a little undersized, which they don't match up well with Arkansas. Also, St. John's, they just couldn't shoot. Andre Lewis was really bad, just 3 of 17. Team actually pulled them late in that game. They just played a really bad second half. Just did not make enough shots. Arkansas picks up the win in that one. And then on the other side of the bracket, we had Duke over Baylor, 89-66. There's a reason they're the number 1 team in the country. The entire country. They got the best player in the country, Cooper Flag, along with a lot of other key players as well. They are rolling right now. Arizona over Oregon, 87-83. That was another great game that went down to the wire. Arizona gets by. BYU over Wisconsin, 91-89. That was also a great game. BYU, they hadn't won a tournament game in 12 years, or 13 years, and now they're in the Sweet 16. And Alabama over St. Mary's, 82-66. Then you had Houston gets past Gonzaga, 81-76. Houston, very nerve-wracking win. They almost lost that game. You had Purdue beat McNeese to end their Cinderella story, 76-62. Kentucky beats Illinois, 84-75. Kentucky was up big at one point. Then Illinois came back in the game, into the game, but Kentucky in the end was able to seal the deal. And then Tennessee beats UCLA 67-58 as they get by UCLA. Another game Tennessee was up a good amount at one point. UCLA made it of the game as we got a little bit later, but Tennessee was able to hang on. So the Sweet 16, we got number 1 Oregon against number 5 Michigan, number 6 Ole Miss against number 2 Michigan State, number 1 Florida against number 4 Maryland, number 3 Texas Tech against number 10 Arkansas, who's really the Cinderella of this tournament, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure how much of a Cinderella that is, coached by John Calipari in the SEC. Number 1 Duke against number 4 Arizona, number 6 BYU against number 2 Alabama, number 1 Houston against number 4 Purdue, and number 3 Kentucky against number 2 Tennessee. So not a ton of craziness when it comes to upsets as there has been in past years. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.